Hey, what's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here with your sports recap. We'll hear from Tom Anderson, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army Professor of Military Science at the University of Guam, on the first annual Take the Hill competition. Men's national basketball team coach E.J. Calvo will also be on to talk about the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers as Team Guam looks to advance. First off, some soccer news on St. John's senior Andrew McCormick. What drew you into the sport of soccer?
As a child, my dad, we always watched sports together. And when I was living in Navy, the MWR, soccer was a big thing a lot of kids played in. So I also joined in and I just sort of picked up the sport sort of right away. I've just been playing it since then, moving to Wolverines. Having Coach Joe really helped me love the game on and off the field. Something I enjoy. Also off the field, like watching soccer outside of Guam, like in Europe.
And how has refereeing helped you on and off the pitch as far as being a student athlete, and just daily life in general?
It's really helped with my preparation. Because being a referee, you have to be prepared before the game. Just like in school, you have to be prepared. And then the teamwork wise, you have to be able to work with fellow referees, players, as well as the coaches. And you have to build a relationship. So you have to do that as long with your classmates, with your teachers. You have to sort of build respect. So people they'll trust your judgment, and so other referees will trust you when you make that call. And they won't. And you also won't second guess yourself because they'll trust in your judgment.
And what are some of the things you're looking at when you're out there on the pitch officiating a game?
The intensity, how are both teams going at it? If it's a high paced game, you're gonna have to be more alert, and for the little things like a tripping or the offsides, they could be a little more offsides if they're going faster. So you have to be very alert to those small details that are happening out there.
And it's one of those things too, where not only are you having to make sure the fans are being settled down, it's also the players too, because a game can easily get out of hand if you don't keep the players in check.
Yeah, yes, that happens a lot, especially with players, especially in one of those high-paced games. Those players, their tempers can sort of flare, and as a referee, you have to learn how to be calm and composed in those type of high-intensity situations, and that helps from being a referee to a player as well. You sort of have that calm.
Starting officiating games at the end of your sophomore year, what was that experience like, and when did you realize that this could be something you wanted to pursue?
At the start, it was sort of just sort of something to do on Saturdays. But as soon when you go up the ranks and you build friendships and stuff, you enjoy it more. And I think that's something that really happened. I really started enjoying it and really buying into the refereeing and just being there all day Saturday and loving what I'm doing out there.
You wrote about officiating for your college entrance essay, where you will be attending Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts.
They've been very supportive. They've been sending a lot of emails to things that they're hosting for new students and young students that attend college right now. So they've been very interactive with me, and they show a lot of care for their students and even for their incoming students. They've been very supportive of trying to get me ready for the college that I'm going to be going to.
Anything in particular when you chose your college?
It's not a big college, I wouldn't say. It's sort of like the school I'm going to now. It's not as big, and they have a very big importance on athletics as well as academics. So it's they're very big into both of those things.
Taking courses over at the GFA definitely going to help you in what you plan on doing, but it's also the networking side of things that you've draw interest to, and looking forward to gain more experience in that field as well.
Yes, especially knowing a lot of sort of the higher members in the GFA system. It's very helpful because they'll talk to me about what they do, and then so I can sort of learn from the top people, and I can use those experiences and what I'm going to be doing in hopefully sports management at Springfield.
And I heard you're a big Mattel fan.
Yes. Yeah. I've lived here a long time, and they're sort of like the soccer club here. So yeah, I've watched a lot of their games.
Were you ever a ball boy in any of the games?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so when I was younger.
Talk about maybe some of the other goals you have as far as maybe school or just when it comes to soccer and being official.
Well, for school, I hope I going to Springfield, using that education to hopefully like in sports management, but also as a referee in the United States, hopefully to go up through the ranks in the United States, possibly go into MLS maybe, and then maybe on even to becoming a FIFA referee, using those experiences from Guam and also from Springfield.
Tom Anderson, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army Professor of Military Science at the University of Guam. We're here to talk about the Take the Hill competition. And tell us when the event first started and a brief history about the competition.
Well, Dave, there's this great route that you guys see in the video for the competition that runs all the way from the sea in Pago Bay all the way up to the top of the hill, basically where the campus for UOG is. And for years, literally back to the 80s, this has been like the preeminent route for our cadets to run as they're training their bodies to get ready to be Army officers. So we run this hill all the time. It's something the cadets always use as a way to motivate themselves and push each other, see who's the fastest to get to the top. So we just decided, why not make it an official race, with winners and with plaques that everybody can compete for. We knew it'd be a good event for us to be able to motivate our cadets to be the best they can be.
And have you guys measured the distance, how long the actual course is?
Yep, so it's actually, shockingly, it's only 0.4 miles, so it's just shy of about half a mile. But like you see in the video, it is straight uphill. The first half of it's about a 30-degree angle. We think we measured it correctly. And then it gets all the way up to a 45-degree angle right at the end of the race. So it challenges you mentally because it doesn't flatten out at any point over that, half mile of a race. So it's pretty tough for the cadets and something we love to challenge ourselves with.
And how many cadets did you guys have this year for the competition?
So within our program, we actually have 115 cadets. So for the actual competition, we just chose our best 12. Normally, in a situation like this, we'd have everybody compete, but because of the pandemic and social distancing, we wanted to keep everybody safe. So we just did 4 iterations of 3 cadets each. So the cadets were outside, to mitigate the effects of possible coronavirus. And then also we only had 3 of them going against each other. So reducing the number of participants helped keep all of our cadets safe. This is a competition that we just did for the first time this year in terms of making it an official competition. But every time that we do PT, we always physical training. Every time we train with our cadets in the mornings, this is at least once or twice a week. The cadets are running up that hill, Marine Lab Lane. So it's a race they're familiar with, and they were all excited to be able to push each other to see who could be the champion.
I'm sure it's pretty competitive. And also, the camaraderie, the team effort, because the ones that finish stay around the finish line, encouraging the other ones as they make their way up the hill as well.
Yeah, in UOG ROTC, it's all about team. We want to be the best individually, but we also want to push each other to be the best that we can be. Because this isn't just about winning a trophy. This is about making these cadets the best they can be so that someday when it really matters, when the score is not just about what's on the scoreboard, but about taking care of their brothers and sisters in combat. Now they're going to be ready to do that, and they know how to support each other in physically difficult experiences and help each other rise to the top and be the best.
Well, Guam definitely has a lot to be proud of because per capita, the enlistment rate is very high. For anyone out there that wants information or get in contact with the program over at UOG, how can they do so?
Yeah, they can just go to our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/UOGROTC, or they can just give us a call at 858-ROTC, and that's 858-7682. So thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate it.
With me now, women's division champion, UOG cadet Talia Menel. First off, just tell us how the course was and how grueling it was just taking part in the competition.
So it's the Marine Lab Hill at UOG, and for those that are familiar, it's a very long hill and it's steep the whole way up. it was super grueling to do that. It was long and one of the steepest hills that I ran, and it was hard overall, but just had to keep pushing through to finish.
Did you have a game plan going into the competition? Maybe just wait it out that midway point, turn it up, or was it just let's just get it over with and push the pace?
I really think it was just like let's do this mindset that helped me finish through all this. Yeah, because I feel like that's what's gonna push you the most when it comes to inclined courses like that.
And the camaraderie must have been really great, seeing all the participants and just rooting each other on, just making sure that everybody got to finish that hill.
Yes, it was amazing. I've been with those people for quite a while now, and they're very motivating, helping us all finish. Me and the other two that I raced with, and it was great.
Talk about the program there at UOG and how it's helped mold you as a cadet in the program over at UOG.
So at UOG, being in the ROTC program, I feel like it has helped me with my communication skills as well as my leadership because of the people that are there. They're really motivating, and they really help you when you need it with not just stuff that involve the ROTC program, but with your classes at UOG as well. They're there to help you and get through this, especially with COVID going on. It's very motivating.
All right, here with men's national basketball team coach EJ Calvo. The FIBA Asia Cup games just around the corner. Let's talk about the venue. What do you know about the venue? And will athletes be in a bubble once they get there?
Yeah, as soon as we arrive, we're supposed to be bused directly into the bubble where we're going to be tested for a couple days. We'll be allowed to train on our own, but limit contact with other teams for the first couple days until everyone is cleared, and then the competition will begin. There'll be two different groups in the same bubble. So the Philippines has their group who will do their games, as well as our group, which is Group C, with Australia, New Zealand, and Hong Kong. So it's going to be interesting to see the high-level basketball going on in that bubble come February.
Now let's talk about traveling team. How many players are you looking at, coaches and staff?
We're talking to players, and just first going based on availability, and we compete with 12, and we'd like to have maybe as many as 15 in our expanded roster, so that we would have the option to activate a player from game to game and maybe keep the legs fresh. In terms of coaches, we definitely have to have our team doctor with us, as well as a couple physical therapists that we're recruiting to join the contingent. And I have a couple assistant coaches who are also confirming their availability. So yeah, we're trying to go over there and have everyone ready to do their job so that we can accomplish the goal and advance to the next, to the big tournament.
And the games are going to be played in the Philippines.
Yeah, they're in the Clark Air Force Base area, Pampanga, and I've been to that area. It's really nice, and I understand that they conducted a bubble exactly like this for the PBA season over in the Philippines, and I went and took a look at the facility. Looks great, at least on television. The PBA games looked really good this year. One of our players, Jericho Cruz, had a good end to the season over there in that bubble. So we got some insight to how they were treated, and they said, basically from the hotel to the gym every day. That's going to be the routine, and it's going to be very much like the NBA did this year, a focus on competition for 5 games in 6 days, and we'll see how we do.
And how's training and practices going to be going from now until Guam leaves?
That's been the toughest thing. We've been trying to work out outdoors as much as possible, but at some point you really have to dedicate to getting on the floor together. The guys have been shooting a lot, working on their handles, and more and more will be building up to be able to train in more of a live concept. So we even had a few players who took a trip during the holidays. So they're clearing quarantine first, and then going to be confirming their testing and making sure that they're going to be ready to return to training soon, because we only got about a month left before we really have to prepare to leave.
Not giving too much away for the rosters, what can we expect as far as play and strengths for this team heading out to competition?
I mean, I think it's okay to say that this roster will be a little bit different from what we had earlier this year or early in 2020. We're already finding that potentially a few players are going to be removing their name from consideration just because of their inability to travel right now and leave work. But we also have a few players that weren't available last year that are now available. Like kid I'm really excited to see play is Ben Borja, who last February was in his college season out in California. So he graduated and now he's ready to commit to playing for Team Guam again. So there's going to be some changes, and it's going to, I think, be really good for our future to get more experience with some of the new guys coming out.
And how is the support been on both sides as far as the community and business community side?
Oh, we've continued to enjoy the support from our sponsors since last year. We're really sad that we're not going to be able to play here in front of our fans again like we did last year. But our hope is that we advance to this big tournament and we represent Guam, and at least in terms of FIBA competition, we're doing things that we've never had the opportunity to do before. And so we have to make the most of it. And we've received all kinds of support from our fans on Guam, basketball fans all over. And what I really find interesting is I've received a lot of messages from our rivals out there in the Pacific that we only see maybe only every 2 to 4 years, from Fiji and New Caledonia and American Samoa and a lot of other guys, because it's pretty cool that a Pacific Island is going to be playing with the big boys.
And any word of some roster changes from some of the other countries that we'll be facing, or are we looking at similar matchups from what we saw with New Zealand or any other participating countries?
That's a great question. Actually, it's only rumors, but what we're understanding is that the pro season in Australia, which is a very good pro league called the NBL, is in season right now, and they're playing in not a bubble, but in somewhat secured areas without fans for the most part. And they will probably not include on the national team players that are playing professionally in Australia. So that completely changes the Australian national team. And then not only that, the New Zealand team, some of the top guys on their national team are also in the Australian NBL, including their point guard, Shea Ely, and their shooting guard, who had great games against us here in Guam. So when we see them again, it will be a different team. They're still going to be really good, and they are very focused on advancing to the FIBA Asia Cup, just like we are. So we know that it's going to be a great experience, but we do need to take care of business against Hong Kong in the 2 games that we will be facing them, and if we want to stamp our ticket to the next round.
And when is Team Guam set to leave Ireland?
Right now, so we have a call with the Philippines later this week to talk more logistics. It's not a normal situation where we can just go over whenever we want and rent a bus. So it's all going to be very coordinated with them. So what we're anticipating is our first game is on February 17th against Hong Kong. And so we're anticipating at least a week prior to head over to Manila. So maybe around the 10th to make sure that we're ready. And it's good because we get to ensure the safety of everyone, and everyone's going to test. But we also might get some good court time together right before we play.